So far away, Lucas. Are you ready for the final Wiki Weekends?
Wait, the final Wiki Weekends?
On this channel, we're launching it on another one. So far away, Lucas, for the final time on the Fiend channel, would you like to let the lovely audience at home know what we're talking about on this episode of Wiki Weekends?
Well, quite fittingly, we are talking about death, because Wiki Weekends is dead, Karl.
Yeah, but it's coming back, so it's kind of a shame we've already covered the Phoenix Force on an episode of Wiki Weekends, because that would have been the better thing to talk about. But specifically today we're covering the character of Death in the Marvel Universe, and as always, a link to the wiki we're reading from can be found below. And to kick it old school, let's read it from my phone, shall we? And Lucas, what do you know about Death in the Marvel Universe, save for that Thanos wants to get his fuck on with a skeleton?
How may I serve you, my mistress?
I tire of this universe.
Well as that, I just obviously know the other half of this love triangle that is the Thanos, Death, Deadpool scenario.
Yeah, so that's the thing people don't know. In the Marvel comics, Deadpool, Thanos, and Death are in like just a menage a trois, where they all just like want to get their fuck on, and Thanos hates Deadpool because Deadpool like wants to get his fuck on with Death, and Death kind of wants to reciprocate. But Thanos has a hard on for Death. He's like super being friend zoned by the concept of death itself. So he curses Deadpool to never be able to die, so he can't go bone a skeleton.
Well, isn't that kind of like the entire premise behind like the Infinity Saga for Thanos in the comics? Is like, rather than being like, I'm going to fix the universe by killing Half-Life, he's like, I just want to get my fuck on with Death and impress her.
Yeah, so the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of makes Thanos into like, you know, more of a rounded character, because as you said, he has like a reason for wanting to destroy. He has noble, if misguided, reasons for wanting to like destroy a half of life. In the comics, he just wants to impress Death, who takes the form of either a sexy skeleton or just a sexy lady. And personally, I prefer the skeleton version, because like comic artists can't help themselves, and even when they draw Death as a skeleton, she still has tits. She has skelly titties.
Have you got your co-host with you today? Could you ask
Bonley's
him
here. Bonley's in the corner. He's here
you
for
ask
the
him
final
what version
Wiki
of Death he
Weekends.
prefers?
I don't know. He's like, you know what? Like, I don't know where to go with this. Let's stop. But
I know the name of every soul that has ever lived and died and ever will.
But for anyone who maybe isn't familiar with the character of Death, let's just go through her basic biographical information. I did say her there because despite Death being like, you know, the physical manifestation of a concept, in the Marvel Universe, Death is a sexy lady with big old titties. So we have here, name, Death, aliases, and like thankfully for the final Wiki Weekends on Fiend, we've got some band names, and we have the Spectre of Death, Karl Smallwood, Mistress Death, John Kowalski, one of Death's avatars, Little Man, Kid Reaper, The Dark One, Dark Beauty, Dave Shooter. It's not the best collection of nicknames and aliases there, but I'm not...
No, but I quite like Dark Beauty as being like a bit of a more subtle one. That's a cool name.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen to their album, but I would have their poster on my wall.
I don't know, I think I might listen to Dark Beauty.
We'll see. It sounds more like dark wave than like heavy metal, which is what I'm into. We have affiliations and relationships, relatives, parents, God. And here's where you know that, like, you know, just the creator entities in the Marvel Universe, shit's all fucked up. And it says in parentheses, alleged creator / brother.
Oh.
Yeah, so God is Death's brother dad. And then we have siblings, Eternity, Galactus, Infinity, Oblivion, Life. So they're like the other, like, you know, metaphysical concepts that guide the Marvel Universe. And then children, Rot, are son by Thanos. So Thanos did eventually dick down a metaphysical concept. How much of an OG is Thanos that he dicked down a concept? Like, an aspect of reality bore him a child. How potent are that man's balls?
Let him have his fun.
Oh, the big purple prunes themselves, Carl.
And then we have physical characteristics. Height, variable. Usually it takes the form of a 5'7" woman. Weight, variable. Normally takes the form of a 140-pound woman. Eyes, variable. Normally take the form of black irises. Hair, variable. Normally appears as black, because death, despite being a concept, often presents itself in a physical form so that people can comprehend it. And that physical form, if we're talking about comics, is always a sexy lady.
And it's just so funny to me that that's kind of, that's the original understanding of what they're doing there as concepts, is they're presenting themselves in a way that we can understand, and Thanos is like, I could get some.
Yeah, I want to dick it down. So, Lucas, do you have like a favourite idea or representation of death in media, or an idea of what Harry's use of the afterlife, Valkyries, something like that? Because I'm like a big fan of the concept in DC, weirdly enough, where their version of death is just like another version of the Flash. And they say it's the one thing you can't outrun, death. Like, death is just another speedster dressed in black who is a skeleton who chases everybody.
But whatever is hunting me is far worse than a time wraith.
Well, then there's that one comic where the Flash outruns death.
The Flash can outrun everything, including the concept of death.
Yeah.
Because the Flash, reaches either the end or beyond the end of the universe or something like that.
Yeah, because what the Flash does is he runs so far into the future that the concept of death ceases to exist, and therefore death can no longer chase him because there's nothing left in the universe to die, and as a result the concept itself dies. And there's a really great line, which I probably mentioned before, of the last thing he sees before the universe snuffs out is a man in red tights crying. Which means Superman is going to live long enough to see the end of the universe. That's how fucking powerful Superman is.
But, I mean, it's weird because I didn't think that this might be the answer to your question. Mm-hmm. But, apart from, Valkyries and stuff like that, I want to give a shout out to Hades from Hercules, the movie.
Okay.
But, the first thing that came to my head was the Grim Reaper from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't mind that. And
oh, come on. I'm a working skeleton. Isn't that scary?
Hey, can I see your hockey stick?
I do like the idea of Hades, not in the Disney movie, but in the game Hades, where Hades is just doing paperwork, because that idea is that's what death would be. It's just endless paperwork. And one of the things I love about that universe, that sometimes paperwork gets lost. Achilles is stuck, unable to go see his lover. And it's well, the paperwork will get around to it eventually. It's Dad, it's been 1,000 years. It's have you any idea how little time 1,000 years is in the grand scheme of things when your job is death?
A litany of complaints submitted by restless shades across the underworld must be evaluated, organized, and processed. But Prince Zagreus does not even know where to begin.
Can't understand any of this.
And that's kind of the reason why the game Hades kicks off in the first place, isn't it? Is because you're just the son of Hades and you're done with paperwork.
Yeah, I fucking hate paperwork.
This is so boring. I want to break out.
And the other concepts of death that I really like is the Klingon version of death, where they describe it as the ultimate hunter who wins all battles.
Oh.
And they have something similar in the Predator universe as well, where death again is just this abstract entity who is the ultimate foe who can never be defeated, and eventually all are prey to the concept of death. It will eventually hunt all. Even the strongest warriors will eventually succumb to this mighty warrior known as death. I just thought that was a pretty metal afterlife, or idea of an afterlife. But I like this as well. History, death was born, quote unquote, along with the universe itself and the other cosmic entities associated with it. Whereas eternity embodies life and growth, death embodies decay and destruction.
Yeah, then obviously we think of death on quite a personal scale, but yeah, when you put it in that context, it's no, death is the opposite of eternity.
Yeah, it's the
that's how big a concept death is. It's not just a person that is checking names off a list. It's the destruction of everything in the universe.
Yeah, like death is a very abstract concept, but we tend to view it on, like you said, very personal scale. But we have here personality, and this is what I love because there's relationships. Death has had canon relationships in Marvel. For example, Death seduced and was in turn seduced by a character known as Cull on what was thought to be his deathbed, at which point Death returned into life. And I would like to now ask Lucas, like, how desperate are you to cling to your existence where you will actually try seducing the concept of death itself to avoid dying?
That's such a baller move. Is like death turns up at your deathbed and it's like, yeah, but how about instead we go on a date?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's like in The Sims, where you can challenge the Grim Reaper for your soul by beating him in a guitar battle. You beat the Grim Reaper in rock, paper, scissors, and he brings you back to life. Or like, because that's a concept that's been around for a while. Like you have it in like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which is itself referencing like another film I don't remember the name of, but watched in film class, where they like challenge the concept of death, the Grim Reaper, to games, and they keep kicking the shit out of Death, and he doesn't like it.
Sorry, Death, you lose. It was Professor Plum.
I said Plum.
No way, you said mustard. Can we go back now?
Best 3 out of 5.
And that's just a nod to the fact that death is inevitable. It will eventually win all battles and tests of skill.
And that's kind of, that one like horror franchise that I don't necessarily like because it makes me paranoid about just being in any location, but Final Destination.
Yeah, where it's...
Of like, you can't cheat death, it will always catch you.
You can't cheat death. There are no escapes.
Bullshit.
And that's one of those few horror like franchises where they have pretty rigid rules and they've never really deviated from them. They've added to them, and normally they add to them in like ways that do make sense. Like as you said, you can't cheat death. And they have that thing in the first movie of like, there was a big accident, you avoided it, you cheated death, death wants its souls. You will die in the order which you were supposed to originally die in the accident, but then they are introduced like later in the series of like, well, death just wants a soul. If you kill someone, you get their life, because death just wants...
shit.
Yeah, there's just like, a tally sheet. Death doesn't care who dies, just that someone dies. Like there isn't like, just someone's got to balance out that checkbook.
You're not supposed to be here. You're shorted death. So you let death have somebody else in your place, and then you take their spot in the realm of the living, all the days and years that they've yet to live. And they take your place in death.
Another obvious one of like Death Note, and just like Ryuk is like, fuck it, I'm bored, I'm just gonna let a human like take a Death Note.
Yeah, why not?
See what happens. It's been a really boring like millennia.
And I love the ideas of death being bored. It's like, have you any idea how boring it is existing for as long as I have? And that's why you have like a Final Destination, despite death being an abstract concept, it has a sense of humour, but it has a very cruel sense of humour. And most of the people it kills die in very ironic ways. The reason I love that is because you can read those Final Destination movies. It's like, just dumb, horror movies where people die in interesting ways. But I personally prefer to read it as like, they say death has a sense of humour. And the reason why people die in those like Rube Goldberg-esque accidents is because death has nothing but time to plan. So it just plans the most convoluted deaths possible as a challenge to itself. Like, do you know, in like Hitman, people will try and do the most convoluted deaths possible. I just think death's doing that.
That's the thing though, isn't it? Of like, realistically in Final Destination, if death just wanted to kill them, when they all just like get in a car back home, it could blow up, right?
Yeah, and that's what you usually have at the stinger for the end of most Final Destination movies is someone gets hit by a car. Because Death just got sick of trying... What it is like Death's trying to do it's like quick scope montage for Death 2. It just gets to the end, it's like, oh god, no, he's going to win, fuck it, just kill it, just throw the grenade.
Just fuck it, give up.
What are you talking about?
What if us being here, right now, was the plan from the beginning?
And other relationships, Thanos and Deadpool are both in love with death. Because of this, Thanos once cursed Deadpool with the inability to die. That's a hell of a power move, innit?
Like, Thanos just... Yeah, like, I didn't realize that it was just straight up take away his ability to die completely.
Yeah. Like cock blocking on a cosmic scale.
That really is like taking a concept of life and death away from Deadpool.
Yeah,
just because you're jealous of the dude.
You're jealous that he's going to dick down a metaphysical concept harder than you. And then the fun stuff, powers and abilities. And as you might expect, the power grid for Death is just maximum in everything except fighting skills, which I don't think really matters when just touching Death. You just cease to exist.
That's the thing is, we don't even know what like the rule set for this Death is, because a lot of times Death doesn't even need to like, you know, give you like the literal touch of death. And I don't know whether that applies in the Marvel universe or not.
It does not. It says here, so powers are nigh omnipotence. Death itself is a cosmic level entity, and as such is more than capable of achieving virtually any effect desired within the regulated limits of the universe itself. So basically, Death can do anything as long as like what it's doing is not against like, you know, the rules of the universe. Which you could probably break if like, you know, a comic writer felt like it should be able to. Yeah, like, you know, I'd expect Death to be omnipotent because it's like, you know, it's, like I said, it's a fundamental force that guides the universe itself. Then we have then the most key power, Death. Death itself can liberate the soul or spirit of any living being, but generally leaves this task to the various beings of the afterlife, such as the Valkyries, Hela, or Doorman.
I presume that's some kind of like person who opens a doorway to hell or something like that.
I believe he's a hero who has the ability to turn into a door. Like, it's one of those things where like it's a stupid hero, but then a writer realised, okay, we can do something with this. Where he was a part of the West Coast Avengers, which was like where all the jobber mutants went, like Squirrel Girl and stuff. And like his power was, what he can do is if he puts his body against a surface, it creates a doorway to the next part. But then a writer realised, well, does that have to be a doorway in the physical sense? Can it be a doorway, for example, into another dimension or plane of reality?
Yeah, they kind of mess with that idea in One Piece as well.
So, yeah, what is a door?
An enemy that has like the door through. And it's like, well, I can make a door through this wall, but I can also make a door like through time and space to teleport and shit like that. It's like, right, okay. Cool.
Yeah, and that's just, you know, writers having fun with an interesting power. And then we have here, so because Death is the embodiment of all death, every lost soul belongs to it, so the agent of passage is relevant. Death can also reverse that passage and return a being to life, although that rarely happens. You got to have a strong dick game. You got to be on point. Your cocksmanship has got to be especially good to convince
like
Death to let you
return back to life. How good are you at flirting to convince Death to stop?
That's the one, isn't it? And then Death can choose to ignore certain beings, possibly as a mark of respect for their ability to survive. Like, you know, Deadpool, for example. Other beings with the proper knowledge, such as the Sorcerer Supreme, can challenge Death directly, and by succeeding at this challenge, they can become immune to true death. That's a ballsy move, innit? I'm going to challenge the concept of death itself to a fist fight. And you know he's got bad fighting skills, he might win.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's true, and obviously you've got the MCU version where it's said, you know, that I'm going to lock myself in with Dormammu and just kill myself over and over again.
Yep.
Like, could Doctor Strange do that with Death?
Yeah, because time is like not a relevant concept to Dormammu, so he managed to win with that. We have immortality. Death itself cannot die, since it is not truly alive. As a cosmological concept that Thanos had sex with, the basic laws of the universe have to change to erase death. So we're pretty safe there, unless someone managed to get hold of a reality warping gauntlet or something like that. But thankfully that doesn't exist in the MCU.
What about Megadeth?
Megadeth, oh man, the band coming in. Do you think Death sees Megadeth like that's a way cool fucking name? Then we have Power Cosmic, unlimited ability to manipulate reality, time, space, matter, energy, or magic for any purpose. Though Death rarely uses this power, however, possibly because it does not want to wish to upset the balance of cosmic entities, which could endanger itself. Also, why do you need to? Everything dies anyway. It's like all Death's got to do is wait. You just got to wait.
But that's interesting though, because, you know, in a lot of versions of Death, like, Death, if it doesn't do its job, nothing dies.
Yeah,
so like
shit starts to get real.
Sometimes Death can't just sit around and let everything die around it. It's like it's got to actively work.
Yeah, and that's like, I think something that's probably niche about to speak more to this is like fantasies like Supernatural. They're the concept of death in that, where Death's like, look, I'm just doing my job. So you might not like that I'm doing my job, but I'm doing my job. Things have to die. See, if things don't die, things get real bad real fast.
Why? You think maybe it was the extra cheese? Yeah. Was good, though. Is it a local place?
Dean?
Right.
And the final and most interesting power of death, at least in my opinion, soothing appearance. If death manifests itself as a mortal being in its final moments, it may take the form of a loved one. For example, when Captain Marvel died, it manifested itself as Una, his greatest love. And I like that idea, because there's that really poignant quote about like the Grim Reaper, like people are scared of the Grim Reaper or the idea of death, or like, you know, this being that, like, you know, ushers you to the afterlife. It's like, well, the Grim Reaper just doing their job. Like, wouldn't it be worse if you had to go alone? And just that idea, like, yeah, wouldn't you want someone there to, like, you know, walk you through those final moments? Would you want to do it on your own? No.
But it might be a bit intimidating when that person's a 7-foot skeleton in a robe with a giant scythe. Like, if it's like, you, as you say, your most precious loved one ever to exist, and they appear in front of you and like, come with me, and we'll, you know, be in the afterlife together.
Right, I just imagine it's that bit from Futurama. It's like, come, Bender, you like being dead. And it's like, that's what they said about being alive.
Come, Bender, you like being dead.
That's what they said about being alive!
And then weaknesses, if you can believe it, death has a weakness, and the death's weakness is the death of death, which is an aspect of the living tribunal. Which is like, you know, Cosmic Marvel gets so dumb that death of death is a thing. And it says that death of death saw death as unimportant and nearly killed it. How is death not important? Like, it's 66.6% of that character's name is the word death. And it's like, death's not important. It's like, if death didn't exist, that character's name would be Of. How is that not important? And that brings us to the end of the Wiki entry on death, and to the end of the Wiki Weekend series on Fact Fiend. And it's now going to continue life as its own channel, because we like Wiki Weekends. They're a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, and they're maybe some of the most fun moments I've had on, you know, covering general Fact Fiend videos and between all the series that we do on here. And we just decided, hey, you know, we kind of took a step back from making them as we decided to split it off into its own channel and stuff and decide what that would be. And yeah, that means that people are going to get 2 Wiki Weekends every single week from here on out.
Plus a podcast that's going up every single Wednesday, in which we bring 1 Wiki entry each and surprise each other with what we find therein.
Yeah, and the concept of the podcast is which Wiki won this week, in which, yes, as you say, we both bring a Wiki entry each. We talk about both, and then you, the commenters, get to decide which wiki was better for that week. And then, yeah, so that means you'll essentially be getting like 4 different wiki entries between the podcast and the 2 Wiki Weekend videos.
And the hosting duties for Wiki Weekend are going to flip between us both. So you'll be hosting a video, I'll be hosting a video. So you'll get, like, you know, a different flavour from the host and our own personalities and what we decide to bring that week.
Exactly, yeah. And it's kind of just a joint collaboration between Karl and I. I say you'll have a Karl video and a Lucas video every week, and then we'll both be, you know, I guess co-hosting a podcast together. So lots of good stuff over there, and it'd be great if everyone could head over there, check out the videos. There's a week's worth of content already uploaded, and yeah, just hopefully you like it over there and want to subscribe.
And just quickly to answer the question that I know a bunch of people are probably wondering right now, why you're not just keeping Wiki Weekends going on Fact Fiend. Even when we were doing like the 5 uploads per week with Wiki Weekends, it never really felt like it slotted into the format, did it?
No, and there were many people that we got comments of either I only watch Fact Fiend and not Wiki Weekends, or vice versa.
Yeah, I only
and it felt like we were creating like a split in the subscriber base, which is not exactly great for all like the analytical side of YouTube and recommendations and stuff.
But we enjoyed making them, so we thought, well, let's just spin it off into its own thing.
Yeah, it just means that people who subscribe to Fact Fiend know they're getting Fact Fiend, and people who subscribe to Wiki Weekends know that they're getting Wiki Weekends. And if you want to subscribe to both, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. But if you are only interested in one half or the other, now you just get a dedicated feed.
Yes, and we thought, well, like, but people do miss these videos. We thought, let's just do one final one, quite fittingly on the concept of death itself. As I mentioned, like, maybe the Phoenix Force would have been a better topic to do. We've already done that one. And we'll keep the archive, all the ones we did previously, up here on Fact Fiend. If you want to see new Wiki Weekends content, you can do so at the channel dedicated to that. We even got like, you know, a new logo and everything, which I'm excited about.
Hell, goddamn, yeah.
But now, yeah, check it out. Perfect.